Hi everybody, so you've tuned into this video because you want to know how do you swim fast, effortless, efficient and injury free? Are these just words or is it possible? Well, I'm proof that it is possible. I had a terrible technique. I used to swim very flat, conventional, a lot of drag, a lot of effort. I was 30 strokes more per minute, that's 1800 an hour, and now I've learned how to glide. So how do I do it? Well, I wasn't always a freestyle swimmer. In fact, I swam backstroke 50 metres, I never swam long distance, and I never swam outside. I got inspired by a film in an aeroplane, and that's how my journey began to swim Ocean 7, the toughest 7 ocean swims in the world. In order to improve our freestyle swimming, we must understand drag and resistance. So, how do we get ourselves through water, which is 800 times more denser than air, in the most efficient way possible? Well, I'm pretty tall, so if I go flat through the water, I'm going to create maximum drag and resistance. So I want to make my tall frame as small as possible because water is 800 times more denser than air. What that means is there's a lot of drag when we go through it. So how do I make myself as small as possible? And what I realised is I need to rotate from side to side and only pull when I'm on my side. By pulling on my side, it means that I cut through the water. And it also means from the rotation, I create the maximum momentum and therefore glide. That's where glide comes from. If you go flat and you have your arms high and your head up, your legs are going to sink and you create maximum drag and resistance. We need our hips as high as possible to the water, and how we achieve that is with the head looking down, the arm 40 to 45 degrees, so that lower position pops the hip up. And when you're on your side with the lower arm, water flows over the top of you. It's not like being flat, whereas if your arms were lower, it would hit you in your chest. But I'd also argue if your arms were higher and you're swimming flat, the water's still going to hit you in the chest as well. But when you go to do the catch, if you're not super flexible, you're going to push water down, the chest is going to go up and your legs are going to sink. Because it's very hard to do this high catch, what people call over the barrel, unless you're super flexible, because the shoulder doesn't want to do it. The traps elevate and it causes pain into the neck. So what you need to do is drop the arms lower. By being on the side, you create a different body position. You cut through the water, it takes pressure off the shoulder and water flows over the top like I've just said. So you are as small as you possibly can be whilst being on the side, and you create the maximum glide possible, therefore saving strokes. In my case, 30 strokes per minute from when I used to swim flat. That's 1800 an hour. That's huge. But the rotation from side to side creates the maximum glide. You can learn this on Ocean Walker Vimeo, my online coaching system. I take you through step by step. It's really worth checking out. The other thing, by swimming on the side, is you don't have to lift your arm overhead like you do when you're flat. When you're flat, your shoulders are lower and you have to do that high lift overhead, which is what causes irritation in the shoulder joint. When you're on your side, you've got that natural elevation where your shoulder's higher, and that is achieved from your arm underwater being lower. So what it does is it picks your shoulder up higher, picks your hip up towards the surface. There's less drag because you're on your side, but you can also do a sweeping motion on top for your recovery arm rather than lifting. So you can see my nice natural high elbow here. I'm actually sweeping in a semicircle. So I'm sweeping sideways rather than lifting because of that natural elevation. It also helps having the head looking down because that gives me that lower position at the front end, which then picks up the shoulders and picks up the hip. The thing is with water is it's 800 times more denser than air. So you have to push into the water, so you have to press into it in order for the hip to get higher. If you swim what you think's on top of the water with a flat body position, your legs are going to sink, which is why pool buoys were invented, to bring your hips up, and wetsuits, which do the same thing. We don't want to use a pool buoy and we don't want a wetsuit that helps us with all that elevation, because what you can't have is your arm high and your feet high. That's an arch in your back. So you need to drop lower at the front end. That helps you for the catch. It helps you naturally to pull water back. The only way you go faster in swimming is by pushing water back, not down. If you're swimming flat and your hands are higher than your forearm, which I suggest you don't do, You're going to have to do this high catch, which puts pressure on your shoulders. Unless you're super flexible, you're going to push water down, your chest is going to go up, and your hips are going to sink. So you want that lower position on your side. Swimming side to side creates this massive glide that you see here, which saves me so much energy. And also it gives me that recovery arm that also saves me from injury. The wrist position is also important. As you can see here with the wrist, I'm pointing slightly downwards. That helps me get to that low 40-45 degree position and helps me for the catch. So what we have to learn is how we get from side to side. In my case, I use the feet. I turn the feet and I do one kick, which gets me from side to side, and I create this pendulum motion. And I'm always pulling when I'm on my side, maximizing the glide and creating the most speed possible. If you want to learn this, go to Ocean Walker Vimeo, my online coaching series. I take you through step by step of how to do it with drills to support you. Okay, so for the last amount of time, I'm just going to be quiet now. I'm going to let you watch what I do here, watch the glide, watch the recovery arm, the low head, hips popping up. This is a real video. There is no Photoshop, there's no engine on the back, there's no fins or all the other things sometimes I'm accused of. It's just natural swimming from side to side. Hope you enjoy it. Take care.